You ever notice that like whenever you go to create something, you always need coffee? Like even on stuff where I'm like editing and stuff like that, I've just noticed I'm completely addicted at this point. It's just like really sad. This video is all about stacking content or making the most in a short amount of time of just filming things. Put it in perspective. You're lugging all this equipment, camera equipment, you're investing all this time, you're traveling places, and you're working with business owners that also don't have the luxury of time in a lot of cases. So you may be wondering, how do I even do this? Well, it all starts first with your pre-production process. It involves you sitting down, talking to your client, walking them through how many deliverables are coming of that 3-hour block, 4-hour block, whatever it is, talking them through scripting, talking them through what graphics, talking through if they need any B-roll or anything additional as well. Then you, as a filmmaker, know exactly what to bring, when to arrive, and if you need to set up multiple sets. What's great about working in a co-working spot like I do is that you always have access to a recording studio here. So while I don't leave all my equipment here, every time that I come here, I want to try to make the most of my time by filming some of my content while I'm here, but also working with clients and filming some of their content as well. So once you have really nailed the pre-production process, you've identified if you need B-roll, you identified the scripts and written out the scripts and have them proofread and approved. You have them all set up on a teleprompter. You have a general idea of how many deliverables that are coming from the day. You want to go ahead and obviously set up all the equipment in the room. What I always like to do whenever I enter in, and as an example, I'll throw up some clips here of the studio that I work out of. All right, this is before. Really, whatever the room is, I want a complete stale room. So I want to remove all the equipment that's in there. I want to remove if there's any lighting, if there's any just odd objects, whatever it is. I want the room to be completely blank, a clean starting slate, so to speak. Once that's achieved, the next thing I'm doing is setting up all of the outside elements. So I am speaking from a boom mic. So I have a mic that's right here. I set that up. I set up the lights. I set up the tripod, all those individual elements so that whenever the talent does come on set, we can then make minor adjustments, but we're not setting up things as they're getting ready. The next thing I like to do is to set up, once I set up the tripod, is to put my A camera, so the one that I'm talking on right now, and I utilize a teleprompter in a lot of cases, so we put a teleprompter on there. The script's already loaded onto an app that I utilize for the teleprompter that just mirrors the text. And once I have the A camera set up, I then add on the accessories. So I plug in the microphone, I add the monitor that's above the camera. Another thing that I do is, you can see there's a white backdrop behind me. Well, working out of a co-working space, and this could be applicable to outside of a co-working space, just knowing what background you're filming to. So making minor adjustments, adding some lights to make sure that I separate myself from the background, making sure that there's no shadows whenever I do movements like this. And there still is a little bit of a shadow, but for the most part, the shadow is gone. Making sure that the background's good, making sure that all the equipment is in front of you, all set up. The last thing you're gonna do is just make the minor adjustments whenever you have someone on set. So obviously with talent, you have people that are different heights. They might wanna be framed differently. They might be sitting down, they might be standing. Whenever you do have the scripting and that's completed, you always want to identify, are you gonna be sitting? Are you gonna be standing? Are you gonna be kneeling? Whatever it is, I don't see anybody why they would wanna kneel. But you wanna have all those elements put into place so you know exactly how high your tripod should be, as well as how you want them framed. So then the talent comes on set, they stand in the place that I'm standing in right now, and then you make minor adjustments. You make adjustments to the lighting over here, you make adjustments to how high the microphone is, you make adjustments with your tripod, how high or low it should be, you adjust the focal length, whether you want to zoom in, zoom out. So after you have everything set up, obviously it comes down to filming. What I always like to do is I always like to go ahead and hit record. First thing, regardless if the person's ready to talk or not. And the reason being is I've noticed that people typically are a little bit shy whenever okay, hold on everybody, we're about to hit record. So coaching them through that by hitting record really fast. And then what I also like to do is just have them do one dry run. So just have them go, be like, hey, listen, just so you know, we're just gonna establish a baseline here. So just go ahead and just kind of read through the script, add some emphasis points if you want, but really just get through it. You'll be shocked with the quality, first of all, of that first presentation, and then also how the individual is not really thinking about anything, so it's just natural to them. So put yourself in that scenario, right? You walk in front, you got this big camera here, and for us, we're used to it, right? We're used to like setting up a light and all that kind of stuff. But for a lot of people, this might be their first time filming anything really, or if they have limited experience, here and there. So you hit them with this big light, you got this microphone down here, there might be you and another person in the marketing team that's in the room, right? And they're staring at you and all those things. So you want to really bring down the stress level. So by hitting record and allowing them to do that dry run through, you'll be shocked. Sometimes they even nail it on the first try and you don't have to worry about it. The other thing throughout this process is with each different, if you want to say with each different take that they have, you want to give them a little bit of coaching points, but nothing to overwhelm them. Really, I only want to focus on about 1 to 2 things that I'm trying to adjust on each take that they have. Another thing you could tell them to do is if they're having trouble with stumbling and they're kind of flubbing their words a lot, just tell them to break it down, paragraph by paragraph. And then on the editing side, you'll be able to supplement that with either changing up the frame, zooming in, zooming out, utilizing an A and B camera, adding some B-roll over top of it, using some graphics or anything like that to make sure that the product is still great. But overall, the most important thing you need to do is just make that person comfortable. Earn that person's trust. Make them laugh, make them smile. Empathize with their scenario that they're going through. Realize that, hey, I get it, like you have a lot of things going on here, but hey, just talk to me, be there with me. The last thing I like to do, obviously, when everything is done and wrapped, and before I take down any of my equipment, I'm checking the footage. So I'm taking the SD card, plugging it into my computer, looking through everything, making sure that we got everything, making sure that we got every single deliverable that we wanted to that day, making sure everything looks good, listen a little bit to the audio while things are happening as well, and then just make sure that whenever you say we're wrapped and completely done, that you're not coming back to them in 2 weeks and being like, hey, I'm sorry, we have to re-record this section or something happened here, there, or the other. So just having that immediate quick review, you don't have to go crazy, but just that quick review whenever you actually wrap and look at the footage that you have on there and decide, okay, this is good, we're good to go, and then begin to obviously take down all your gear. The last suggestion I have, and this is more of for us filmmakers, we need to start making a lot more content about ourselves, for ourselves, to show our industry knowledge. So one thing that I've taken on is anytime I record or pick up my camera for a client, I also do it for myself. So the reason I'm standing here right in front of you is we just wrapped, obviously, this morning with a quick film session, about an hour, nailed out 4 videos. But I was like, hey, we already have the lighting set up, we already have the microphone set up, we already have the camera set up. Why not record something for myself? That's why we made this video. So make sure that you're doing that, make sure you're staying up to that, because you want to stand out amongst all the other industry experts that are out there, other videographers, filmmakers that are out there as well. Hopefully you found this helpful, and now we have to switch this room around, do some podcasting. We'll see you.